Hi, welcome back. We are at episode 14. I hope you all are coming chronologically because it's getting exciting. So right now we are in Pakistan heading to Kashmir.
To Kashmir, exactly, yeah. As our audience may remember, and again, we will be posting a map to show exactly, the journey and what they are doing.
Right.
But they are en route to the Lake of Dahl, which is located in the mountains, near the mountains of Solomon.
Okay.
And near what used to be called the Meru Vardhana in Kashmir. I think right now, all these little villages, around the lake are gathered into a unique city called Srinagar. Okay. Yeah. So
does that city still exist?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't have the same name, but the city, of course, has changed.
Right.
I mean, roads have been developed.
Well, it's been a long time.
Yeah, but now it's called Srinagar on the shore of Lake Dahl.
Okay.
Yeah. So there are, again, it's only 320 kilometers, I think, according to Google Maps.
Boy, I wish they probably wish they had that.
Yes, but at that time, going through all the passes with small horses, it was not an easy task. Yeah. So during the trip, which is very arduous, as you may remember, they left when it was spring in Pakistan. But as they climb into the mountain, the spring turns into winter again and the snow. Yeah. So they are basically forced to stay about an entire week into a little barn with malnourished sheep. So at least, maybe...
Well, they kept warm, maybe.
Maybe they get a little bit warm, yeah.
Yeah.
So during the stay, Melkus, who used to be the leader of the caravan and is now their guide, is fuming, and he needs to unload a lot of anger and resentment about his life that he has stored inside himself. So he tells them that he was actually an orphan, and that the caravan saved him. He was rescued by nomads.
Oh.
And little by little, they taught him everything. And
taught him the trade.
Yeah, and he climbed the ladder of the caravan cruise, to become a leader of a caravan. So I guess he had a lot of resentment and a lot of anger about all these hardships and, difficult childhood. So he needed to confide about that.
Right.
And
so it still happens today, right? I mean,
it does. Yeah, absolutely.
Sad. Right?
Yeah. And so the interesting part is that Yeshua is listening to him and thinking that by contrast, he realized that his childhood, he has been completely spoiled,
I know somebody like that.
And very well taken care of. So, I mean, it's interesting,
Right.
So finally, after a week or so, the spring comes back in the mountains and they can resume their journey. Okay. And one morning they finally arrived after crossing many passes, and they can admire the blue waters of the lake, from the higher mountains. And Yosh Heram is basically recognized the mountains of Solomon, because Yosh came at that place when he was younger.
Oh, okay.
So that's why he kind of he's a spiritual guide of Yeshua for this section of his journey, because he has been there before and he knew the place. So everybody's excited about the prospect of being there. It's a beautiful area. I mean, the scenery is absolutely marvelous with mountains surrounding the lake, beautiful water. So everybody's happy. And Yeshua also realized that deep within himself, he knows that place. He knows that mountain and he knows that lake. The Lake Dahl.
He's been there before.
In Kashmir, yeah. So that lake still exists today again, and our audience can go and refer to it. It's quite beautiful. Again, we will try to post some pictures, modern pictures of the Lake Dahl.
Yeah.
But I think the way the people are living hasn't changed much. They still live on boats. A lot of houses are floating houses.
Okay.
And they use that also to fish. So they have little fishing boats, but they also
They live on
the shore of the lake
Okay.
on floating homes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's quite beautiful, and the boats are all of different colors. So it's a very, very pleasant area. And so they enjoy this little town, but they notice something interesting, is that the people are dressed in a similar way as the Jewish people in Galilee and Judea.
Like dark colors or just plain,
grayish,
very
gray,
plain?
very plain and grayish, you know. And they also notice that the language is identical.
Really?
Yeah. So
they went from Aramaic to Greek to now back to Aramaic?
yes,
Okay.
exactly, yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of interesting, yeah. So we're going to talk about that, but apparently there is a few people Jewish people who basically migrated toward that place and founded a little replica of their society and culture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So which is kind of practical, for Yeshua and Yosh Heram.
Right, they feel like they fit in a little bit more.
Yeah, and they can understand the language too.
Right.
So they ended up renting again a fisherman's home, on the shore of the lake. So they're all very happy, and they enjoy the warmth of the weather because again it's deep into a valley. It's a lot warmer than all the passes and the mountains that they climbed and crossed. Yeah. And they can finally rest after so many weeks and months of climbing and walking in the mountains. So overall, they are very happy. So the mountain of Solomon, and we're going to talk about that mountain because a lot of things are going to happen on the top of that mountain. It is called Sankara. Okay. So that's the Hindu or Kashmir name given to the place.
For Mount Solomon.
For Mount Solomon, yeah, Sankara.
Okay.
So, of course, Yeshua, interacts with the local rabbi, and he goes to the synagogue and try to find out. And the local rabbi tells Yeshua that Sankara should not be pronounced because that name is the name of an idol. And those Jewish people, and then led by the rabbi, are rejecting all this nonsense. For them, everything else which is not the Jewish tradition and Jewish religion has to be rejected.
Okay.
They are not embracing, so they are basically prisoners and closed up of their dogma as they were in their own country.
Boy.
Yeah.
They couldn't separate miles. Still the same.
No, they could not. They could not
get away from it.
For some reason, they cannot accept anything else. Yeah. So Yeshua realized that the people of his original country, those Jewish people who came here, just basically create a replica of what they had over there, but they are completely closed up and they are rejecting all other form of thinking. They folded themselves, and they embraced what Yeshua calls ignorance and obscurantism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's actually very sad, extremely sad to see people from Judea and Galilee, from his native country, come here so far away and behave in this way.
I wonder why they left where they were.
Yeah, I wonder why. Yeah, I mean, this is not being said, but it would be interesting to. I'm sure there are some historians who have been trying to understand what happened.
Right.
Why would you walk so far away to basically recreate exactly the same stuff?
Yeah, typically you leave because you want to change something.
Yes, exactly. Right? Yeah, and not even being curious about other stuff. So the name of Sankara will not being used anymore, but we will talk about the mountain of Solomon just by respect for these people. So this brings a lot of thoughts to Yeshua, and he's wondering, why did he feel compelled to come to that place? It's not because the locals are talking the same language. Obviously, he didn't know about that.
He didn't know that, right?
Yeah. It's not because he wanted to live on the shore of a lake, because his village in Galilee was also not too far from a
I didn't
lake.
even know there was a lake there.
No, probably didn't. And he also thinks that Shambhala, which was one of his objectives, seems to be no more present here on the shore of Lake Dahl than it was in his native Galilee.
Oh.
So he's a little bit perplexed, about why was I compelled or drawn to come here.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So one day, Yeshua finally decides to climb the famous mountain of Solomon, which is overlooking, the lake. And in the meantime, Melkus is with some fishermen. He's, probably trading stuff or talking about how to catch good fish and stuff like that. And old Yosh Heram is resting his whole body because he has been taxed by the trip.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Somebody's age, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so Yeshua reached the summit with 4 or 5 men, and all these people are covered with ashes. And I think we call them sadhus in the Hindu terminology. They are people who have renounced everything, just to follow the spiritual enlightenment and living with basically pretty much nothing.
So nothing, and then they cover themselves in ash.
Yes, yeah. Similar to the people we saw near the Qumran,
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another branch. So Yeshua is now on top of the mountains, and he admires the scenery with the village spread over the islands, spread around the island and the beautiful lake. And the place where they are staying is called, again, Meru Vardhana. Okay? And again, that place today no longer exists. It has been taken over by a bigger city called Srinagar. And so on top of the mountain of Solomon, there is not much. I mean, it's just a few shrubs, small trees. But in the distance, there is a tower surrounded by a little wall. Okay? And so he realized that the location and the ground has a very strong telluric energy. So he feels that. Okay? I mean, we have talked about that. We know that Yeshua is a little bit more sensitive than the casual human.
Ley lines.
Yeah. So he can feel probably the ley line, and there is a very strong telluric action at that place. So he climbs the tower, and on top of the tower there is an enormous egg, elongated egg, which is made of a very very dark, almost black stone. Okay.
Like an obsidian stone, you think?
We don't know. I mean, the texture or the origin of the stone is not given to us.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can just assume, it could be obsidian, it could be something else. Yeah. But again, it has this. It's like a big egg, but much more elongated than an egg. Okay. It is what we call lingam.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So which represents the male energy normally in nature, right? So Yeshua is very surprised to find that, and he feels a lot of emotion in the presence of the eggs. So you can see that the eggs is all black, but there has been somebody has put some kind of coating on it, which is some kind of a red, oily substance. On
the stone?
On top of the egg, yeah.
Okay.
So, which he does not understand what it is, but anyway. And when you look at the eggs, he hear the words Swayambhu Linga. Okay. And again, the lingam symbolizes the force of Shiva, in Hinduism, and usually it represents the male energy. So our Yeshua puts his hands on the lingam,
and he felt compelled, right?
Right.
I may as well do that.
And he feels a very fresh energy going through his hands, and then his arms, his shoulder, and his chest.
Interesting.
I mean, it's basically the whole fresh energy is penetrating in his body and soaking his body.
Wow.
And so there is a priest in charge of that little location, and it's probably the priest which is coating the stone with that reddish, oily substance.
I wonder what that is.
Maybe it's to
maybe some
protect
kind of
it.
essential oil or something.
Or maybe some essential oil, or maybe some kind of protection, for the stone.
Right.
And so the priest comes close to Yeshua. He sees Yeshua, in meditation, touching the stone, and he realized something is going on. And so he looks at Yeshua's hands, the hands line, and after a little while, he backs off. He kneels in front of Yeshua, and he touches Yeshua's feet with his forehead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So of course, Yeshua is 14-year-old. He doesn't want any of that.
I know. He's like, oh no.
But
I wonder what he saw in his. His hand. It must
probably,
have been something.
Yeah, he must have. He probably realized that he was an avatar or something like that. I mean, normally you do not kneel in front of someone and put your forehead on their feet, unless it is a very advanced spiritual being.
Right.
Yeah. And so Yeshua realized that this is why he came here on this location, because he had to touch that stone and get the energy and feel the energy of that stone. So again, after leaving the stone and talking with the local priest, he admires the scenery, and then he starts going down in the valley. But during many weeks, the following weeks, every day, he will ascend the mountain and spend time touching the stone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He feels really drawn to do
Absolutely.
that. It's probably calling him.
And it's becoming a ritual for him, to every day come and touch and let his body being soaked with his energy. Yeah. So I tried on the internet to find traces or information about that stone, but it looks like it no longer exists.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything.
It's too bad.
Yeah, it's too bad, yeah. It may have been destroyed or taken somewhere else.
Right.
It's really difficult to find out. So Yosh Heram, being older, only goes twice during all the months and weeks that they stay in around the Lake Dahl.
Probably would have helped him, but maybe he wasn't called to go anymore.
Yeah, and I think it was too much of an effort for him. Yeah, he couldn't do it. So he's only going twice, and he cannot climb any longer. And after a while, after a few weeks, Melkus decided to leave the group. I mean, the trio, basically. And he's going to join a caravan, which is going west, westbound, because he promised to bring news of Yeshua and Yosh Heram to Yusuf of Arimathea, who financed the caravan and the tree.
But he's going to leave them on their own?
Yeah, he's going to leave them on their own.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, Melkus is a caravan leader, so he needs to go back to his normal trade, which is to help and lead caravan.
But they still have a long way to go, don't they?
Well, that was the
agreement with
agreement
to
take them to the mountain of Solomon.
Okay.
Because Yosh Heram had been there once.
Okay.
When he was younger, during his lifetime. Okay, so he knew the mountains, and they had basically convinced them. But as we will see in the future episodes, Yeshua is going to have other communication and drive to go in different places.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And since Melkus is going back west toward Judea and Galilee, Yeshua writes a letter for his parents and gives it to Melkus.
Oh, nice.
So we don't know if the letter made it. It's most likely it did, because Melkus, we will find Melkus again in the future.
Okay.
He will have a very important role again in the life of Yeshua.
Oh, all right.
So this is just a goodbye. It's not a farewell.
Okay. It's not forever.
No. And so because Yeshua goes every day on top of the mountain, he sees the little village of Meru Vardana, and he convinces Yosh to go there and they actually move into that little village.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And they're going to be very happy, very pleased. So they both discover and meet the people, and the people are very friendly, very open. Not at all like the Jewish community where they were living with before, you know. And he finds people who are like him, basically, who are revering the supreme soul of the cosmos, which is very important, and who have a very deep respect and devotion toward all the forms that are being manifested.
Okay.
So
his kind of people.
Yeah, his kind of people, exactly. So they're going to be staying many months in the village on the shore of the lake, and Yeshua even learns the language of these people, so he can communicate with them. And in the meantime, you know, Yosh Heram is recovering very slowly, and he's actually very impressed and in awe at the wisdom and maturity that Yeshua is acquiring.
He's amazing.
Yeah,
really
I mean,
amazing.
A 14-year-old boy, you know.
It's really something.
And he's just a young adolescent, and he's all. And so Yeshua doesn't waste any time. He embraces all the rituals and tradition that the place can offer. Oh. And we know that the place has, of course, Jewish religion, but it has also Buddhist and Hinduist.
Oh.
Hinduism.
Okay.
So
wow,
you know,
he's a one-stop shop there.
Yes, exactly.
Right, to learn.
So he's revering the awakened Gautama Buddha. He's also offering flowers to Vishnu and Shiva. I mean, he's everywhere where you can find traces of Haun. Is you know, the
God,
the ultimate creator, the God. And so life goes on, you know, very, very nicely, very peacefully. And one morning, Yeshua wakes up and he hears a voice in the center of his head, probably in his pineal gland, or coming from his pineal gland. Yeah. And the voice says the following: "I'm waiting for you. Come meet me near the lingam." So, you know, Yeshua immediately,
his favorite little place he was going.
He immediately gets up, starts climbing the mountain, you know, and he's on his way to the top of the Solomon Mountain. And on his way there, he meets a group of 5 to 6 people who are gathered around a human form which is on the ground. And apparently it is a woman who had fallen or hurt herself, and she's in enormous amount of pain, and she's not able to get up, and nobody around her seems to be able to help her.
Oh.
So what happened in those cases? As usual, Yeshua feels the energy, you know, flowing through him. You know, it's like building up.
Right.
Is you know, it's like Reiki, the power of
stop.
a million,
His
right?
Hands get all hot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he feels this energy going through his body. He kneels on the ground next to the woman. He placed his hand, you know, below her back and above her belly, and he let the energy flow into the body of the woman.
Oh. Very
and after a little while, you know, he's not controlling anything. I mean, you know, people who do energy healing or Reiki sometimes control the flow of energy, or they are more or less conscious about what's going on, right?
Right.
But in this case, it's like the personality of Yeshua is disassociated, you know, removed from the process of healing. Well, at this point,
he's probably channeling it, right? I mean, that's, you know,
again, it's some kind of a Christic energy or healing energy which is coming through him and helping him. So after a little while, the woman cries a little bit, and then her whole body starts relaxing, and she starts moving her legs again.
Oh. So
we don't know exactly what was wrong with her. Was she paralyzed because of the fall, or I mean, this is not being given to us. The information is not giving it to us. And while the woman is recovering, Yeshua can feel the energy going away from his body. So that healing energy only comes when it is necessary, when it is useful for him to use it.
That's good. He's very lucky. So are the people he's helping.
So so he invites the woman to rest a little bit, before resuming her descent from the mountain down to the village. And he hears a young boy calling him, Swami, Swami. So Swami...
In his head, you think?
No.
Oh, out loud. Oh, okay.
Out loud,
all right. Out
So
loud. Okay.
what is a Swami? Our audience may know that, but Swami usually is a term, Hindu term, which is used to designate a wise person who is dedicating his life to spiritual enlightenment and the study of scriptures. Okay, that's what a Swami is. So obviously, the young boy who is calling Yeshua knows that he is doing that.
Yeshua's probably wondering, what is everybody seeing?
And from a
Even
distance,
the little kid could see it.
from a distance, the little kid tells him, "Hey, Yeshua, come with me, follow me," And Yeshua takes advantage of that, because there is some kind of commotion around the woman who is recovering,
Right.
and he decides to discreetly slip away, because he doesn't want to be,
Questioned
or the center of attention, And so that little boy is like a monkey. I mean, he's climbing the rest of the mountain very fast, and Yeshua, even despite his 14-year-old, has a hard time. Catching,
Get his mountain legs on.
Staying up with him,
Yeah.
And so at one point, the young boy stops on top of a rock and calls Yeshua Swami, And at that point, Yeshua gets closer to him, and something happens which is quite incredible. The young boy transforms himself into a young adult. So Yeshua can see in front of his eyes that young kid, who probably was like 7 or 8 years old, calling him Swami, turns into a young adult who is older than Yeshua.
Oh, so who is that?
So he gets closer and he realizes that this is not an image or an illusion. I mean, the guy is really made of flesh and skin. I mean,
That's incredible.
And the metamorphosis is absolutely outstanding to Yeshua, I mean, he has learned a lot of things. I'm sure he has seen a lot of things, but this is something that he has never experienced before. And so he asks the young man, but who are you? And the young man says, well, here in this mountain, they call me Babaji.
I was about to say that. That must be Babaji. Okay,
Yeah.
Babaji.
Babaji. So the name Babaji means revered father.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Baba is father,
and
Ji is probably revered or cherished.
An endearment.
Yes,
some kind of
exactly.
endearment.
Yeah. So here in this mountain, they call me Babaji, and so Yeshua gets closer and closer and realizes, okay, this is a real person. It's it's almost
He's like going like this, like what the heck? Am I really seeing
the
this?
being is real.
Right.
And then Babaji tells Yeshua, and you are Yeshua ben Yusuf, right? Isn't it? And he said, I've been waiting a long time to meet you.
Oh.
So in the next episode, we will talk more about Babaji. Who is Babaji? And he's quite a legendary being, known, and I guess he has been not promoted, but his presence was made known by Yogananda when he wrote the book Autobiography of Yogi, right?
Oh, right.
He's
That's
talking.
right. He had the experience.
He had the
with
experience of meeting the Babaji.
Mm-hmm.
So, what can we say about Babaji? Just as an appetizer for the next episode. There are only, to my knowledge, there is only one picture of him ever taken. Okay, which shows him as a very young man. He's immortal. He's a master. He's immortal. He has the capability, as we saw it, to take different appearances.
Right.
He can be sometimes a little kid. He can be a young, mature man. He can be a young man.
Never a woman, though.
Well, he has a sister, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
There is also a woman who is similar to him.
But it's not him.
No, it's not him.
Okay.
No. So Babaji also is not born from a woman. So he doesn't have to be born in the traditional or the...
So they just materialize?
He materializes himself, yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. He's capable of materializing himself using basically the substance of the ether and the molecules of our physical plane to create a body whenever
he really
needs
is a
one.
master, isn't he?
Yes, yes. So
interesting.
definitely, and his role is probably complex and multiple. Again, I'm not knowledgeable enough to tell you more about it, about him. Yeah, yeah. But he's quite an impressive being. Yeah.
Well, so is Yeshua.
So is Yeshua, yeah. And it's not a coincidence and the two of them are
Right,
meeting.
exactly.
Yeah. Because they probably have
a lot of history.
a lot of his in common history. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much for that. And thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.